Can we start? Now, we're going to go through a few of the ideas that have been posted on the site and just give our opinion on it, comment on it, tell you what we think, and tell you the ones we liked and the ones that we thought were okay but maybe needed a bit of work. So the first one was from Vincent, which is the Wi-Fi landing page as a tourist information portal, which I think is absolutely awesome. So the basis of this idea is IS, and in particular Justin's business unit, they own all of the hotspots, the major hotspots at the nexus points for tourists. So at the airports, that's where tourists arrive. So one of the first things they're going to see is they're going to see the IS logo everywhere, and they're going to see our hotspots. So the idea is to take those landing pages and give tourist information, free tourist information. So if you arrived here for the 2010 World Cup Soccer, you open up your laptop and off you go. You start having a look at trying to get online. Without having to pay for it, you can get access to local specific information. And because we know where you are, we can give you kind of custom information.
Location-based element to it, yeah.
Yeah. So that's something we're definitely going to be running with. Justin has taken that one up. Do you like it? I mean, is it?
Yeah, no, it's a great idea. It's phenomenal, and clearly, I mean, there's a nice business model here in the sense that the local providers for the tourists can actually subsidise the service as well. So it's a very good idea, and we'll definitely be pursuing that. And hopefully next week, I've got a strategy session on Monday with our execs. So hopefully we'll be giving Vincent a call later on in that week.
Okay, cool. Right, the next one was the paid news server, which is from Bob. Bob with two B's.
Yeah.
Now, what that is NNTP, which is the Network News Transport Protocol, which has been around for yonks. And in the early days of the internet, it was basically this cloud of articles and information that would get posted, and people would subscribe to a specific news group. So you wanted to discuss things, and it was kind of a mixture of IRC. It's like Web 0.0, right? It was the very, very early days of people communicating. But what it's evolved to over time is to become a big storage ground for binary files. And what binary files are things like movies, things like applications, that type of thing. So there's this a new service that's starting to get offered internationally in Europe and the US, where you buy access to a news server. It used to all be free, but now you buy access, and you're kind of buying access to it because you want to download movies. So news is now what BitTorrent is, or provides the same function as BitTorrent. So there's new media centers you can buy. There's something called the Popcorn Hour, which is powered by a network media tank. Includes a news agent inside, or a news client, so that you can go and pick up stuff. So the suggestion is to run a local paid news server. Now, in the early days of IS, when I think we had a 6 meg international link, 2 meg of that was taken up just by news feeds. So we would pull all these news feeds in and then store it locally, and people would access it. And it eventually becomes so big and so problematic that ISPs can't provide it for free anymore. So the suggestion is that we look at it as a paid news server, because there is a business model for that internationally. And it's not a bad idea. I mean, it is a business model that's proven to work. I think from our perspective, we as IS and our customer base are not news type people. You know, our big corporate customers are not news people.
Yeah.
But there is scope for someone who would want to set up something like that on our infrastructure to do it.
Okay, so this is something I don't know too much about, but how would an IS, or how would we position this? I mean, clearly there's piracy issues involved in this.
Well, so is there with BitTorrent.
Yeah. So, but we don't actively, try and sell or repackage BitTorrent. So how is IS or anybody else associated with us going to make a business out of that?
Well, the piracy element is not. It's like providing data infrastructure. If someone hosts a torrent server in our infrastructure, we as IS can't be seen to be delving into what's inside there.
Okay,
so I mean, and the
transmission of data is the guys, but.
Yeah. It goes to your net neutrality article as well, because at what point does the ISP become responsible for the contents of the packet?
Yeah.
You know,
so it's a wider debate. That's very interesting. So, okay, I mean, and the business, I mean, who would pay for this?
Well, someone has to pay for the infrastructure. Someone has to pay for the bandwidth. More than anything else, there's a huge amount of data that you're going to have to pull. Yeah. Because each day you're pulling from international news servers, and it just grows and grows and grows. So you've got to cache the stuff locally. and you've got to pay to get the stuff here. So you have to make sure that there's enough people sitting on the back end who would access it to cover the cost of having it go international. So,
it's huge. Okay, so what's that? I mean, how do you see this becoming a vehicle, if it were to be a good idea?
It's just a question of the economics. We'd have to understand whether it could make money or not. But I like it is an international trend, and it's a good idea to look at least take it a step further to see if there's anything that can be done.
It is an interesting idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. All right. So the next one, if we go down a bit, was locally hosted web conferences.
Yes.
We're doing that, you see.
Yeah.
So one of the things that we've often said is that we're probably going to get ideas for things that we're going to be doing already. And local web conferencing is something that we've had in the pipeline for 2 to 3 years, but we've just never really executed on it because we haven't felt that this has been enough demand up until this point.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the technology was not ISP-able. We didn't have something that we could use like we do with hosted exchange, which is broken, multi-tenanted infrastructure. So yep, local web conferencing, who was that by? That was by Big Sky.
Big Sky, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, in the past, just to give you some idea of why we haven't done this, is because most of these systems have been proprietary and fairly expensive to license. So it boils down to economics, and then again, economics not just for the ISP, but also for the clients, and saying, well, hang on, we'll fly people to different locations, or we'll drive there. But absolutely now it's been commoditized to a point where the economics is sufficient. And this is absolutely a big part of, I know, the voice and applications businesses within IS, and they'll be rolling out WebEx in the near future. So absolutely that's an idea that's going to be done. Whether there's a different spin on it that we can put through ISLabs, we'll need to see.
If someone came to us with an application that they built for web conferencing, that would be cool. That would be something we would totally look at. But at the moment, we have to kind of go with what's out there. So, if someone sees this and says, well, actually, it's not just us hosting that application, but we have built an application, that's something that we could try and, as ISLabs, at least try and...
Absolutely, with some kind of a South African flavour, that'd be absolutely something we'd be amenable to. Just so, the people know, WebEx is the flavour that we've chosen and developing here, and that'll be launched early next year. So, absolutely an idea, great idea.
Okay. The next one was Twitter notifications. Now this was cool. Now
it's a great one.
Interestingly, when this came up, I went and sent it through to our network infrastructure guys saying, hey, look, this is what people are asking for. Can you do that? And they had actually already looked into it.
Yeah, so this is actually done. Yeah. A very bright guy here at Internet Solutions, Gabriel Fortuna, has done this already, which I've been subscribed to since the get-go. And essentially, just to give you guys some ideas, some idea of what it is. It's essentially network notifications or outage notifications. So when parts of the Internet Solutions supercore backbone goes down, a Twitter notification gets sent, and this is through our NMS platform, our network management system. And it's been great. The one potential issue that Gabriel is tweaking is the noise factor. There's a lot of notifications going through here.
And Twitter is quite noisy by itself.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's a great function, and it's working really well. So potential IS clients, if you want to subscribe to it, it's there.